Can I get a proper countdown, sir?
But with
10.
your Ron Burgundy voice.
In your Ron Burgundy voice.
Yeah, like...
I'm live in 10.
There we go.
8.
5.
6.
That's how he counts.
4. 2. 1. You're on.
Welcome back to the WatchTower Podcast. Man, it's nice to be back in studio again. I'm glad that we don't have to flip back and forth from virtual to in studio.
We could use a couple more fans, but
We could use a couple more
lovely.
fans. These
But not you loyal fans. You loyal fans are great. We could use less of you because there's just so many.
Whoa.
I don't know
Oh,
about
sorry.
that, but if you're tuning in, you're probably a cinema lover. You're here to talk about cinema or listen to us talk about cinema because we're geeks and we love it.
Yes, sir.
Today we're going to be talking about a really cool film. One of my favorite films, honestly. It kicked off something in me to be a filmmaker, believe it or not.
Really?
To a certain degree. But before we go into that, I got to introduce my fellow co-host. We have Mr. Michael DeLo.
Yes.
Offering a nice cinematography perspective as always.
I love
Yes.
pictures.
We have Mr. John Eric Castro, fellow acting perspective here.
That
I'm ready
one.
for my close-up.
Love
How you
it.
guys
We
doing?
gotta do Sunset Boulevard. I swear we gotta do Sunset Boulevard.
One
on
of
this
these
show.
days, for sure.
We-
After Cable Guy.
After cable. Oh.
And we
Sure.
have our lovely co-host, Austin Young, in the back.
Not a Hoko's.
Hocoast.
Don't go
I
get
like
it.
Co-host
There's a slight delay. You know.
with special guest Carlos M. De La
Right,
Torre.
I'm the special guest.
Special guest
For no particular reason.
for no particular reason.
I'm your fellow co-host,
You know,
Carlos De La Torre.
I've always wanted a little brother.
Right. Thank you, man. I'm here. You know.
I meant Castro.
You are the little brother, dude.
Yeah. There you go. Oh. Fellow writing, directing perspective, I suppose.
Carlos De La Torre.
Yeah. Glad to be back in studio. We're going to be talking about Spike Jonze's
Yes.
I don't even know, masterpiece for
Yeah.
one, but it's indie, it's drama, it's charming, it's everything. We're talking about Her. 2000, gosh,
I want to say 14.
14,
13.
13. I was going to say 13, I think.
13?
So 13's Her.
It's when Joaquin Phoenix was still, not Joker.
Right. Oh,
He's
man.
still
There's so
normal.
much to talk about this film. I mean, so much. This was Mr. DeLalo's choice.
Yes, this was.
As we talked about last episode.
Makes sense.
2013.
2013.
2013, cool. We got our
Thank
fact
you.
check.
Oh, we got our
check.
fact checker in the back.
Yeah, we have the intern. Checked it out.
Wow.
Intern.
Hey, shout out to you, intern. You don't get a mic, but
Appreciate all
we
your hard
see
work.
you. We see you.
Yeah, this picture, man. There's so much to talk
Yeah.
about. It reminded me of. There's very few films that I can say like, those are the types of films I want to make.
Yeah.
And this is something like
Yeah.
that. This is something that I really connected to the first time. And when I rewatched it last night, I was like, oh, man, I remember why I love this picture so much. But there's tons to talk about. From an acting perspective, from a cinematography perspective, from a directing perspective. Spike Jonze makes a movie like once every 5 years, but when he does...
Yeah, they're either kind of kooky, like Where the Wild Things Are,
Right.
or they're like Her. Where
They're
it's
like
just-
Her.
there's-
Which one was the one before Her?
Being John Malkovich, maybe?
Yeah.
Whoa.
No,
That way back.
maybe he had something after that. He must have had something after Being
It-
John Malkovich.
Maybe Where the Wild Things. 'Cause I think Where the Wild Things was like 2008.
Oh, then
Oh, yeah, for
maybe.
sure.
I'm telling you, once every 5 years. And then when he's not directing, he's off starring in Scorsese films like Wolf of Wall Street, playing the you guys remember the Spike Jonze
Yeah,
part?
yeah,
He's
yeah.
playing the broker, the pink sheet guy or whatever, the one that introduces Leo's character to the... That's Spike Jonze. That's a
Yeah.
director. I'm just saying, he's starring in those
crazy, man.
films.
He's not as familiar, but yeah.
And then when he's not doing that, he's playing the old lady on the Jackass films, like
Because he can.
Oh, I know who
That's-
that guy is.
that's
Oh,
Spike
okay,
Jonze.
Yeah.
because he's quirky, man. He's funny. Anyways, let's give this a rating. What let's open it
Oh
up.
man, I haven't even thought of that.
Well, like this one's my pick, and
Yeah.
I mean this one's in my top 3 for sure.
Of all time or
yeah,
just
of all
that genre?
time.
I remember since I've met you, you've
Yeah,
always
no,
loved
no.
this
Her
picture, yeah.
is really high up there for me. I mean, one, I think there's a lot of sentimentality.
Sure.
The time I saw it, but two, it's again one of those films. A lot of the films that I pick, it's showing what the potential for cinematography can be in storytelling
Sure.
and what that really
Absolutely.
does for a film. And not every film I feel like you see the cinematographer taking the lead as far as like how the story's presented and all that.
absolutely.
But in this film, for sure, no, the emotion,
It derives
the
from
tension,
Chivo.
Yeah.
It's a Chivo-esque cinematography,
Yeah.
which I love. And this DP, he only works with Spike, if
Yeah.
I'm not mistaken. He's like Spike's go-to guy. I don't think reading his credits, I didn't see him in anything else that he really did.
Yeah, but there's just something, I mean, really powerful about the way it's filmed and shot, where it shows the potential for that area. And again, it goes back to being one of those films that I'd like to make. I thought the writing was really well done. It makes you think. Any film that just gives, it stays with you. It's not one of those films that you're like, wow, that was good, and then it leaves. It resonates for a while, and I think this one it hits me.
And we're gonna talk about the ending, Castro, because I know you had this thing, right? And I had a similar thing. We'll
I'm
get to that.
gonna put it at like a 9.5.
9.5.
9.5 is not bad.
Fair enough. Castro?
Man, I haven't thought about the rating. I'll probably give it like a 9.2.
Oh wow. Okay, that's high.
Yeah, I think
high.
I might have misspoken about Joaquin Phoenix's acting skills.
Wow.
No, this one definitely brought
know
a
what?
side of.
This kind of makes sense because you were always like, really? Joaquin?
I'm still sticking with my
You're
whole.
still-
He cannot
we have
lost
to mention
play.
this was your first time watching it.
Yeah, this was my first time
First
watching it.
impression,
crazy.
first time watching the film. So that's
So for
So I'm still
9.2
trying
on
to
our
take in
first
even
try.
the ending is pretty
Yeah.
pretty heavy.
Yeah.
yeah.
But no, I just like obviously I looked at it, Joaquin Phoenix's take on the character, and man, this is not too far from the future. Like
Right.
we're
right,
seeing this in
right.
Japan. Like there's like people.
With the AI
Yeah, there's-
having relationships
There's
with
Exactly.
there's documentaries on like people who are like dating a video game character,
Right.
and
Right.
they're fully invested and committed and saying
Exactly.
that's what I interact with, and that's how I find connection. And I'll talk a little bit about, because I was in rewatching it, I was thinking about the beginning and why the opening scene is so important to the rest of the film and what that really does.
I
Right.
love when they just break a little
You know,
bit of comedy in there. I love it.
Yeah.
When he's like just going through the messages like, this new actress that has a nude photo.
Oh yeah.
And then he's just
Slowly
like,
takes out there, like I'm not gonna
Yeah.
skip that.
There's something
Break the
something
tension.
really special about it. But yeah, okay, Carlos. So
well, Austin, do you have a rating for it, if any?
It has to be more than 9, man. Come on.
Hold
I mean,
for sound.
I mean, I do feel like this is Austin's type of film. I remember when we watched it once upon a time.
9.7.
9.7.
Whoa,
Yeah.
3 away.
I'm at 9.8 now. I'm still winning.
I'm curious why are those 3 points what lacked the perfection?
5. Right?
Oh,
it was a
Whoa,
Oh,
9.5.
you
5.
said it. Whoa, okay.
Oh, no, the only thing... Okay, that's interesting. What was missing? I think...
Hold on. Yeah, it's because damn, we haven't had his rating.
Oh, well,
Oh,
what
sure.
do you want to do? Yeah.
So my
Your rating, and
initial
I'll come back.
rating-
I'll let you dwell.
I'll come back.
Yeah.
I give it a flat 9. Flat 9.
I don't like the flat, but okay.
I would even be impartial to say that it's high 8s, maybe 8.9 something, 8.99, and it's not a bad thing. It's just, to me, it's really hard for me to give a film a 10 if it's not if it's not fucking Casablanca or it's hard for me to give a film a 10, any
Citizen
film.
Kane.
So yeah, if it's, I mean, even Citizen Kane,
Citizen Kane's better than Casablanca.
No.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yes.
No.
Oh.
Yes.
Dude, we got like 10 minutes if you guys want to scrap right here real
Duke
quick.
it.
Did we do? No, we did Mank, right? We haven't done Citizen Kane on the
Yeah.
show.
No, yeah.
Because I don't want to embarrass you.
Oh, is that what it is?
damn.
I challenge you, sir, to a
Wow,
duel.
man.
First round goes to
No,
Austin.
yeah, it's. I'll give it a 9. I'll give it a 9. It's storytelling at its finest. It's being creative. It's pushing the envelope. It's Scarlett Johansson. I remember getting a similar feeling when I saw Lost in Translation. Again, not just because it's Scarlett Jo, but just that intimacy, that feeling of loneliness and wanting.
The disconnect.
And the
kinda.
disconnect, it being in another country and not being able to talk to other people. But in this case, it's got a. This was 2013, and it hits close to home of people being on their phones, being more connected to everything else other than the real world. And the fact that the OSs, take off and you have to connect to the real world now, it's hit close to home now.
For sure.
It pushes that envelope. I think Joaquin, I'm going to pose a question to you guys throughout the conversation.
Yeah, me too.
But for now, I think Joaquin, this was probably the first thing I saw Joaquin in when I first watched it, where I was like, oh,
Okay. Yeah.
This guy can
okay.
hit.
All right. Joaquin.
See, that's where I was at. Like I haven't seen that. I've seen the one with Mark Wahlberg.
Because of things like Inherent Vices. Like I saw Joaquin as Gerard Butler or as before I saw this, and then I saw this and I was like, oh, he can
which one I need to see?
Yeah,
I
exactly.
need to see
That's
him
what
in The Master, because I hear
I've heard The Master.
yeah,
I've heard that one's really good.
Was that before this one?
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah,
that was probably his comeback. Because I do remember that one.
Yeah. But no, everything's terrific. The directing, like I said, Spike makes a film every 5 years, but when he does, he crushes it. And the cinematography is the thing that holds
really
the most
punches,
on it. Yeah, it really punches on this one.
I gotta hear this.
A lot of the shots. I mean, dude, Olivia Wilde. A lot of the beauty shots of her, with good reason, because the scene calls for it, and he's talking about her. There's something sexy about this woman, but A, B, and C, and the cinematography there captured me
I was
a
gonna
lot.
say on a quick little note.
we gotta come back to that scene real quick right now.
On a quick little note for like putting it at like 100, like this is
Right.
the best film. It's really hard because I mean I don't want to just easily give that to something
Right.
and then
Okay,
it's like
I
nothing else can be that because
because
see
then
that.
what?
yeah,
Then it's,
exactly because even like
You
my
can't go to the top shelf with
even
your
my
ratings.
like all time like number one favorite film, like I'm not gonna put it at 100. I'll put it at like a 98 or so because
Not even your top one.
yeah, because I'll say that there's cinema expands, cinema grows,
Not
and
just that, but I tend to be the type of critic, quote unquote, critic that does two comparisons. What I think is a 9.8 to me, and what I think is a 9.8 in general.
No,
right?
but to you, that the point is you.
To me,
you would put your top film at like 100. Like that's
Cable Guy. Cable Guy.
There
I know.
can't be a
I
better
know.
films.
This is my explanation. The Cable Guy is one film that I've seen it so many times. I haven't seen something that I would change. And I'm not like you guys seeing the cinematography and they use this frame.
Right.
No, I'm seeing it for the acting and the writing because that's all I really.
Okay.
And I
Well,
wouldn't change anything.
Like that's the thing.
That's interesting.
There's so many
perfect.
different departments and so many different areas,
Yeah.
and for cinematography, this one's automatically like 100. Like I mean,
Okay.
I'd aspire to do something at such a high quality level.
Dude, I didn't know Joaquin Phoenix had such beautiful eyes.
Right?
Oh, yeah,
Because
it
they
was-
usually paint him to be like the scruffy.
Yeah.
And then he's got that
you know.
little the lip thing in it, which kind of throws people off. Like, no, this guy's a
He
good-looking
brought
guy.
back
Yeah.
hashtag husky eyes. You know.
And he popularized the porn stash, not to be creepy, because he's got a porn stash in this,
That's true.
and he's not creepy.
He does have that.
Yeah.
Although he kind of is, right?
That
The Olivia
pedophile.
Wilde character literally tells him, "You're a creepy dude, man," and then walks.
I
over
wanted to
and
talk about that scene.
Yeah, we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
Yeah.
But going through the whole picture, I think the opening. If there's one thing I change, oddly enough,
Okay.
it is the opening.
I'll
What
change
was
your
the
mind.
opening?
No,
change-
please. The opening's him sitting at his desk
Yeah, and
writing
it's
the letter.
just that,
The letter,
that
right?
very
Okay.
shallow shot of him, like, talking at the beginning.
I think the shot's perfectly fine, but I think you know me. I like to close the envelope where I opened it, and
and the
when
closing
when
of
films
them
can
too
do
at
that,
the end,
yeah. Or either the closing of them too, or you know how I would open the film if I were a writer.
I feel like they got a lot in there
No,
that
but
was needed.
yes, but it's the opening. We're just seeing him in his career. We're just seeing
And
him
then
in his.
you start seeing that it's a lot of those. The same.
Right. Well, I mean, that was a fun shot. Don't get me wrong. I get again the cinematography.
No,
I
but you
can't
kind of
bash
see
on.
the ending towards that. It's like
I'll fight you.
You know how I would open the film? Honestly, because what closed it for me, the bigger arc for me, was the struggle with his ex, right? The divorce thing.
Right.
So if they would have opened the film with him struggling to send her an email to begin with, like he doesn't want to sign the papers. So what if he opened it with I want to send this email but I can't,
Okay.
or I don't know what to tell her, and then he's finally able to send the email at the end. Like
let's go
that
back
would have been
a-
the arc for
But
me.
let's
you're already
go back a
starting
little
kind of
bit.
halfways.
No, let's
No,
go.
that's not starting
No,
halfway.
because
We're not
you
halfway,
know what I
but
think
you're
that
not
would do?
introducing the.
That introduces a central conflict that then needs to be resolved at the end of the film, and I can see where you like that nice little like bow tie. But this one to me proposes like a question, and then it's followed with the rest of the theme throughout the film. And the thing is,
Well, hold on. I get what you're saying. I really do. I get what you're saying in terms of like going halfway. I just want to point that
No,
out
no,
because
I
I'm
feel
gonna
you, I feel
forget.
you, I feel
But
you.
anyway, sorry. Go on.
Dude, I feel like everybody just turned it back
Central
on me.
themes
my
on the
idea
first one.
it's broken.
It's right there. It's right there.
No. No, okay, here's the thing. I feel like this film explores the theme of love, and it explores the theme of what what's real
it explores
about it?
a lot, dude. Yes,
but also,
loneliness. That's what
it explores
here.
loneliness. It explores closure. It explores
a ton of it, but in the opening specifically explores love, and I think what's interesting about it.
I know.
Here's okay. Maybe
I know where you're going.
No, go for it.
Dilatory did.
Yeah.
No,
the whole love, the synthetic love aspect of it.
Yeah, because if you look at it, everything about love, this film wants you to see, can be synthesized,
right?
And the whole time, Joaquin is kind of like trying to find real love, and that's kind of what broke his last relationship, is that he idealized real love as being this constantly romantic, constant pleasure.
He believes in true love.
Yeah, he believes in true love, and what happened is that when she was acting like a real human being, then he didn't find that there, and then that's what made them split away.
I love that they made him an intellectual.
Yeah.
First of all, I love that they made him. I mean, he's more of a writer. I love that they made him an intellectual, because usually intellectuals are the guys that are cynics, or the guys that don't believe in true love, are the guys that, especially if you write about it.
He's like a poet. You know?
If you write about it, you're a cynic, and you're synthesizing it, right? So you're creating love. But I love that they made him an intellectual who believes in true love.
Yeah.
Because those two things usually don't go hand in hand, and I love that they were able to do that.
And if you look in this one, I mean, you see him at the beginning saying these very profound words, and it's through the dialogue that you feel that, whoa, this is like, especially the first time watching, you're thinking, oh, he's actually telling this to somebody, or he's communicating this somehow. But then he starts saying things like
head-on shots. The head-on shots did that a lot for a lot of the scenes.
Where it's kind of like, then it breaks away where it's
he's
like
looking into the camera.
Yeah.
So
So you feel like, oh, okay, he's giving this very real connection, emotion, love, and everything at the beginning, and then you find out, no, that's just for a letter, so somebody can feel like they're getting the true affection from their partner.
And they didn't have to be super
on the nose.
On the nose. They didn't have to go into, what's the word I'm looking for? Where they describe they didn't have to tell us.
Kind of like plot-heavy dialogue.
Yeah, like they didn't have to tell us the businesses. They didn't have to show us a commercial of the company, of the business. There was one call. There was one call in that same scene where they're pulling out and we see all the agents. Somebody answers the phone. Letters of love or whatever, where we write your letter. That's all we needed. That's it. We don't have to go into it. That was great.
And the thing is, it's showing this like artificial nature to like love now, and even like the technology and all that kind of stuff. Basically, like love on demand. I mean, he goes, he goes, and he's looking at like sexy photos on his phone. Yeah. He goes home. He can call somebody and simulate sexual attraction. Then everything about love that he's experiencing. By the way,
a couple of those scenes, my wife was in the other room.
Me too.
I had to turn down the.
I had to turn that scene where he
that particular scene, the sex chat room
with the tail and
oh my gosh, the tail, the cat, the dead cat.
You want to hear something bad? Okay, so the first time I needed to watch this, I watched.
You watched it for a class, or?
Yeah, I watched it for a class, and I didn't know what I was gonna get into. I didn't know that was gonna be the opening. I had to do this for philosophy. We were talking about artificial intelligence, and it's the whole like idea of like, when do we know when something's conscious? So it's really interesting using this film for that kind of thesis.
Right.
But like I had to watch it, and this was actually prior to me and Ash dating, but this was like we had like a little date night movie thing together. So it was like So we watched it. And I put it on the living room TV, and my parents were home.
The surround sound.
And then me and her, we're not dating yet, but I'm just like, oh, well, we have the same class. We got to watch the movie. We want to watch it together. And it's like, oh yeah, sure.
Oh, you learn a lot about each other.
And then it jumps into a scene like, choke me the dead cat. It's like, and then you're just kind of there with Joaquin like. do we play along? Like, are we supposed to enjoy it? Yeah, like, do we lower the volume? And
do I finish?
Yeah.
I mean, I
had to lower the volume. It was a weird
couple
scene.
Of those. By the way, probably the best scene in cinema. The best sex scene where we don't see sex at all.
Dude, her voice. It's her voice.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
her voice.
It's interesting.
The fade to black. And
it was so effective.
Yeah.
It was effective to be in the sex scene in black because
how beautiful that it like just said, let's take that away. What are they feeling? And then just
and then the line he delivers right after, which he says, "I went somewhere with you. I'm somewhere with you," and that's like, oh man. So that black was. Wherever they're both at, wherever they can both be one. It was
that
effective.
Black space in consciousness.
It was really effective.
But the thing is, The whole film is trying to show you how much you can actually like just artificially make love, you know, and through every facet. And then, you know, even like the artificial intelligence, you know that's not a real person at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And, you know, they say,
that's not what I was thinking the whole movie.
And then,
I was
you know,
like,
she says, I have intuition.
But the writer, but Spike justifies it. Because everybody's thinking it.
No, but that's the question.
He justifies the whole, I evolve the same as you. I evolve every day. The ultimate problem with this relationship is that she evolves faster than he does.
Oh, see, that's,
right?
Yeah, that's true.
You know, what a human evolves in 100 years, this artificial intelligence evolved in, 100 days? You know, so...
100 Days of Summer.
Right, 100 Days of Summer. Right, Austin?
Good film.
Good film. But no, I you know, the thing about her too is location, right? Location is everything. And a lot of people don't recognize that this is an LA picture. It takes place in LA. It takes place in Los Angeles, but in the futuristic Los Angeles. Yeah. And you see the smog in almost like Blade Runner, right? Like you see the smog in the background, and you see all the futuristic trains. By the way, you guys see that behind the scenes featurette I sent you?
No,
when they shot the train, they show how they shot the futuristic train when he's going on vacation.
How did it do?
Oh, dude, it's so good. It's a green room. It's a green room.
It wasn't like the
every wall is green.
With, like, people going.
But they have a train. The model of the train all greened out, and then they had the characters inside the train. And it was kind of like a Grand Budapest, how Grand Budapest did it, but not in the wilderness. Grand Budapest did it on location with a green screen.
That's cool.
But these guys did it in the studio. It was good. It's cool.
That's crazy.
Anyways,
well, like
L.A. The fact that I love a lot of these B characters that go into the Olivia Wilde character, the Chris Pratt character. Chris Pratt's in this shit. Like, I had forgotten he was in this since I rewatched it.
Really nice guy.
I had forgotten he was in this. And Sandra and I just watched, recently we rewatched The 5-Year Engagement. And Chris Pratt's in that too. He always plays the same guy. Before he was casted as Star-Lord. No, Star-Lord.
Oh, Guardians.
He was the friend, the quirky kind of...
Yeah, because of Parks and Rec,
anyways, he plays that character here, but they're these LA kind of smug, kind of pretentious, but on the surface nice characters. I think that's who the Olivia Wilde character was. I think that's who.
Let's talk about her character. What was up with the end of the date? Like, you're weird. Like, he was being honest, and that's what she wanted.
Because of the fact that this was their first date. The fact that she
was forward the whole night.
Yeah, she expected him to either be the douchebag or be the nice guy, and he was neither. He was
distant.
He was distant. He was.
So why go with the destroy this guy's confidence with you're weird?
Oh, when she says you're a creep, man. You're a creep, dude. You're a creepy dude. I don't know. That's a good question.
That left me like I liked it. I was just like.
I think it was just a defense thing, because he didn't fuck with her. He was like, hey, his mind is elsewhere.
Damn, that's evil.
Well, no, but that's it's a bully thing. It's like, oh, well, fuck you. It's a fuck you. It's a, oh, you don't want me. You're creepy, man.
Damn,
and it's probably
that's real.
Like, think about the online dating aspect, right? Like, she because of how he looks. Let's be honest, right? He looks creepy, but he's nice enough. I'm gonna give him a shot, and then she gives him a shot. And the creepy dude, doesn't want her.
Exactly.
So it's even that much harder, right?
That's true.
Also, Olivia Wilde's a fucking badass director.
Piece, man.
Well,
my bad.
Sure, but she's a director now. She directed Booksmart, and she's doing a couple other things. She's an awesome director, man. Yeah. So to see her in a cool film, it always trips me out when good directors are in other good directors' films.
Yeah.
So I just thought that was really cool.
That is pretty cool.
You would just throw Scorsese and everything, wouldn't you?
Well, I mean, I'm just saying, Spike was in his film too.
Yeah.
John Favreau was in Wolf of Wall Street. I mean, I'm just throwing that out there, man. He's
guy.
You know. Anyways, I think. By the way, my favorite scene, the best scene, I think, in the film.
Yeah, which one's your
favorite? Choke me with a cat.
Yes. How'd you know? Oscar scene.
Oscars.
No,
Imagine if they use that scene, like, not Oscar nominated, and they show that clip. Like, choke me with a cat.
For like best actor.
Yeah.
By the way, Oscar winner her for best original screenplay.
Really?
Yeah, won best original screenplay for this. So, okay, I'll go last. What's your favorite scenes?
I'm trying to think. Come back to me, Delo. Which ones? Because this is
it's one of your favorite films, so I'm curious.
Because I want to see the most obvious one.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I'm trying to like not say the last.
No. Go.
Oh, I really enjoy. It's not a scene, but it's the transition. It's the way that the camera looks and the color palette looks before the meet cute and after. I know that that's like a weird way to kind of like put it, but it shows
when he's downloading the software.
Yeah, because before that, he's wearing like a red shirt, and he's the only he's trying to be passionate. He's trying to be like the one who like love kind of persists despite all else, and everything's very gray. And then he has this meet cute, and everything starts warming up, and it's just like I guess like really like a flower blossoming that you see all this color kind of pop into place, and it's very
the color
subtle.
of the software.
It's so subtle, yeah.
The pink.
Oh.
It's so subtle, but the way it starts transitioning in and it establishes things. I mean, I really like that scene. Not so much for like the specific acting and dialogue and all that, but for the way that it's able to successfully show where he's at.
You know which one I thought you were going to go with? I thought you were going to go with the breakup, with the particle scene. The cinematography in the particle scene.
Yeah.
And then when he walks out into the snow, and then he's back on the bed like,
There's so many good scenes.
Yeah.
I'm also, real quick, any of the flashback scenes and the way that kind of, those montages
he doesn't have a mustache.
Yeah.
He's clean cut. Yeah.
They're
in white.
Yes.
The flashbacks are in white.
Quick scenes.
Who's that actress?
They're so heavy.
Oh, his wife.
Oh, who's the actress?
Rooney Mara. Or Kate Mara? Rooney Mara.
Really?
He's married to her. Like now. Like,
really?
They're currently married.
God.
Yeah. I don't know if they met on this set. Chances are they did. But they're married right now. They're currently a married couple. Rooney Mara and Joaquin Phoenix. Yeah.
I know what you're thinking. We're in the same boat. But anyway.
What?
No, how can she be dating this guy? But
dude, she's nuts too. I think that's what it is. But
that's
her sister's a really good actor too, man. Kate Mara, the Martian. She plays a redhead astronaut. Chick.
Isn't she the daughter to the New York Giants owner? Yeah, I think she has. I think she has in her contract where like if there's a Super Bowl. I'm not.
Oh, what? Rooney? Like both of them?
I think that's her.
Mara.
Mara Carr.
Yeah, Kate Mara, Rooney Mara.
I think so.
Rooney's good, man.
Fact check.
I like Rooney because you guys know that one of my favorite films of all time, and we're going to talk about it on this podcast.
Ruby Sparks.
That too. The Social Network. Damn. And she plays the Becca. She plays the character where the opening, the girlfriend in college. Yeah. That's Rooney Mara. I love her in that. But yeah, that's his wife, and she's fantastic in this too. As the ex-wife that wants closure but doesn't want it, is on the same boat as him.
Oh my God!
So good.
You know what? The other scene that really hit me hard the first time I watched it, and I don't know if it's just because I feel like there was the emotion that he was portraying when she was getting mad at him when he wouldn't sign the divorce papers and all that kind of stuff. That whole confrontation scene.
That was a good scene.
I mean, there was a lot of pauses that just kind of lingered on his expression.
Yeah.
And you could feel every bit of that just kind of going through.
She's for the vice.
She is. Wow, I didn't know that.
It's in her contract that if there's a Super Bowl.
The Giants, so they're
the Giants. Yeah.
Wow.
Dang.
Cool. I didn't know that.
But mine.
Maybe that's why he married her. He wants some good Giants tickets. I don't know.
You never know.
Your favorite scene?
Mine was when the whole movie kind of like shifted when he can't get a hold of her.
Oh, yeah.
The panic, the reality of it. It's like it's a system.
Like you thought it deleted it.
Exactly.
It malfunctioned.
Yeah, you're not gonna get the same one.
That's a good scene.
I just love the whole way he's running around trying to get signal.
I think that was
improv. He realizes at the end, it's like, how many more? Are you talking to somebody else? Like,
I believe
everything just starts.
I believe the fall when he falls and rolls like.
Oh yeah.
I think that wasn't on purpose. I think that was improv.
Because he's picking up.
Yeah,
shit
and everybody's looking at him like, oh shit, yeah.
I thought that
was a good scene.
It's a perfect scene for that, just to shift the like, hey, it's a system. Things get delete like that.
No, that's why I think that's why I kind of
That's an act break. That's an act break. Yeah, you're right. It
that's when he sits down, like, he finally gets a signal, like, oh, what's going on?
And he's in the subway and shit. Or
and he just sits down and he starts looking at everybody kind of doing the same thing he's doing. He's like, what are you talking to anybody else? Like,
but you know what? Nobody did. That's what I think worried him, is he was freaking out and nobody else was. Everybody else was like going about their day.
Yeah, that's true.
But he was the one that was like, why aren't you guys freaking out? Everybody, what the fuck is it? You know, like.
But he was like,
I'm curious. What did you guys think of the kind of B plot that was going on with his friend and like the husband and all that kind of stuff?
Oh, I love
the documentary filmmaker game.
Amy Adams can do no wrong, dude. Every fucking movie she's in is amazing.
She's
like,
cool. Even if she's playing like doesn't take care of herself, whatever, but she looked beautiful. Like,
yeah, and
awesome.
I think it was really interesting how they kind of looped it around where at first it's just like a friend, and she would seem like, I guess, like the successful friend who's going through like a relationship and everything, and then later on finds out like I was dating mine, and he left too. Like that's crazy. That's wild.
That is crazy.
Sandra made me recently watch Julie and Julia, and she was even fucking good in that. Like it's that movie's not supposed to be good.
Isn't it with Meryl Streep, right? The great.
Anyways, Amy Adams, but I love that arc too. The actor comes out in Entourage, by the way. The actor plays the studio head that tries to fire Johnny Drama.
Oh, really?
That's the dude, the boyfriend.
Victory.
But that arc was great. I love how early the relationship ended because you saw it coming.
Yeah.
I love that they did it there so that it wasn't he's comforting her and then they get together thing. It was she's gone, now she has a friend, the AI, and they both have AIs and they can both connect through that. And then there's even a montage scene where they're at the bar, all four of them. Her AI, his AI, and then her and him. And they're drinking at the bar, having fun. You could see the earpieces, so you know that they're interacting together.
That just reminded me of the other one, the surrogate.
Oh, that's my favorite scene.
Oh
that's the one I want to talk about.
That is weird.
That's my favorite scene, dude.
But
that scene carries so much.
Because she's kind of like him. Like she loves their relationship. She's willing to be
She's willing to do anything.
But he doesn't know that.
There's so many different parts that just kind of show you this like limit of everybody trying to really find full true love.
But think about how it advanced. Like how it advanced.
Is,
This OS is OS version 1, right? And by the time we don't really know how much time passes, but we know it's not more than a year, right? So the OS version 1, and then there's already these outsourcing entities like the surrogate that people are synthesizing because they need the next step. What's the next step of me? Because they even said, right?
The next step is touching. Yeah.
The next step is touching, right? Is
My bad, that's
no. But what are you gonna do about version 2, or how much more advanced can this thing get?
True.
It can't. As you can get version number 10, but it's not gonna have the touching. It's not gonna have. You can't have babies with this thing. And then what's more is he said a statistic. He said, I was reading an article where there's a very low percentage of having a relationship with an AI. It's rare that you start dating your AI. But there's obviously more people than he's willing to admit because there's services for this shit now. Like, I just thought that scene said so much about the world and setting it up and how futuristic it is, first of all. But more so, when she's fighting back for the relation. That's what this whole film is. He's fighting for it, she stops fighting for it, and then she starts fighting for it, and then he's kind of done with it, but decides to give it a chance. They go on vacation, they get on better terms, and then finally the brick is thrown on his head where she's leaving. But that tug back and forth, this is the flag in the middle. This is the one where, like, all right, who's gonna do more for the relationship? Are you gonna interact with her? Are you gonna provide the surrogate? Is that gonna work out? That scene did so much for me, personally.
It's wild to me how many of these scenes, really hit close to home. Not
only that, but
because
you feel for the girl.
Yeah.
The surrogate. She starts crying. And you guys noticed the similarity in the voice, right?
Yeah.
She had a similarity to Scarlett's voice for the same reason, like, so that if she does happen to moan or talk,
well, that's
or
what the whole thing. Remember when he asked her, like, why did you whisper? Why did you? Well, not whisper, but like,
why did you breathe?
Yeah, that made me think like, oh shit, is she real? That's what it got me thinking like that.
That's interesting.
But why would you say that?
No, I just think that was his obsessive personality being like,
I got that.
Don't fucking be something you're not, and
just trying to make
because like you don't actually cry, like,
right? You
don't breathe to say your words. Yeah.
Anyways, what were we gonna say, though?
No. I like that's why I thought that the first scene was so impactful and so heavy because it shows you just how artificial. Like, everybody wants love and they want connection.
Right.
But the world's able to provide everything that people think that it is. They're able to provide the kind letters. They're able to provide something that talks to you and treats you like you love.
How much do you guys see? Because this isn't a movie about synthesizing a program that is the perfect partner. Because she's not. She has faults.
Yeah.
She's programmed, but she has faults. And she's programmed to have faults, right? So she's not the perfect girlfriend. That's
what do you
not
mean she's programmed to not have faults?
She's programmed to have faults.
So that, like what?
Like not answering the phone when he's freaking out. Like talking to other guys at once.
It's
like,
kind of like
it's as real as a relationship kind of gets.
It's kind of like
right?
Ruby Sparks is,
Right.
where basically the more he tries to create like
the perfect right.
partner, then it becomes something unobtainable, or it becomes something that it's not real enough, and it hurts.
In this case, like she says, she evolves, so she's learning everything from him. Mannerisms. What does he like? What doesn't he like? What can I beat him? What can I do to make him laugh? What can I do to make him smile? She's obviously learning, but I guess what I'm trying to say with all that is the moral of the story isn't, bro, nobody's gonna be perfect if you want something real. But at the same time, what about this character? She has an arc. The robot has an arc. Like, she really genuinely does go through emotions and through her own journey. Though we see none of it, we just hear about it. The story is just as much about her as it is about Joaquin to a certain degree.
For sure.
Right? So, I don't know. I just thought it was interesting. Like, how much realism do we need to pay attention to? Like, is she real? How real is she to him?
I was hoping it was like...
She's on the other side of something.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's still this time...
But the final line that she delivers to him.
What was it?
If you ever get there, come and find me. What's there, and how do I get there, and will I evolve into this in 100 years? Will humanity evolve into this in 1,000 years? Yeah, dude, that fucks with you. Like, what's there, and how can I get there? Okay.
That's how he's thinking it, but she's already like, hey, we'll eventually, but you're not.
It's too hard to explain. And I love that Spike didn't try to explain it. I love that. I love when they can do that successfully. We always talk about seeking a friend for the end of the world. Like, when you don't have to explain it and it just is, and you can do that successfully,
that's why I've rated it so high, because it seems like that just sticks with you. And it's not...
It's not a sci-fi thriller.
Yeah.
It's not a sci-fi. It's
real.
just...
It's pretty real, just with a little bit of,
Because it could have, let's be honest, it could have done what I think other sci-fi films have done. I think like Transcendent with Johnny Depp, where then there's people who are trying to get into the virtual world and consciousness and all that.
The Matrix.
Yeah, and it could have been him being like, oh, now the journey is I must find her.
Right.
In this digital scape. And
but it's
no,
not the
it was
point.
just
it's kind of like Ready Player One in that sense.
Yeah.
Where the whole point is to get out of the fucking video game and be in the real world for a little bit. And I think that's his thing too. Like, sure, he depends heavily on technology, and then he falls in love with technology, and then now he's like, well, I don't know if you guys caught that vibe, but I didn't catch the vibe that he was going to end up with Amy's character. And I didn't want him to.
No,
I'm glad he sent the email to the wife for closure.
The story goes on now.
Yeah, I didn't want him to, and I didn't want them to go in that direction. And they end up in the roof together because now these two characters can find what they're looking for out here, in the vastness of the city, on top of the roof. So I love the line that they deliver to each other. Joaquin says to her. Does she have a name? Samantha.
No, well,
I've never loved anybody the way I loved you. And she says, me too, but now we know how to. He couldn't love his ex that way. He couldn't love his wife. Yeah. He was disconnected, but he was more connected to Samantha than he ever was to his ex.
Oh, no, yeah.
So now he can, if he decides to get back with his wife, because there's still that open door, now he knows how to love his wife. Or now he knows how to love the next person.
The one,
It's so good, dude. It's so good.
What about the ending? You guys like the ending?
I would have...
Him and the Amy Adams character, right?
I would have rather they ended on the letter, on the email.
Yeah, that's...
I would have... but then we don't get the vastness.
No, exactly.
I think
but I kind of see what you're saying, because that letter was like, oh my god.
That's all I needed.
No, the thing is that it's showing his single struggle, and I think that ending shows that it goes beyond them. It's not just about them, and it's everybody else that it connects with.
And it could have been cheesy.
Yeah.
It could have been you see everybody walking out. Yeah. It could have been everybody walking out of the buildings with their AIs like, oh shit, she's gone.
No.
So I think it could have been cheesy, and it wasn't. It was perfect.
It wasn't, but it left enough openness to kind of say that all the people that were trying to find love and happiness and joy, and then they just kind of got dropped like that. Then what do they do? What's next for them? What kind of comes after?
How crass? How much of your heart broke when he does the AI to write the email? He puts the earpiece, and it's the dude voice now.
Yeah.
The generic.
Oh, I didn't even catch that.
Email.
Yeah, that's
true. Oh, dude, she's gone. That's it.
True.
Yeah.
Anyways, I think it's fantastic, and it could have been cheesy in many, many, many ways, but it wasn't.
Refresh my memory. He goes to her, knocks to her, and she opens the door. She gives her this, and then how does it end?
They go up to the roof.
Oh, they go up to the roof.
They go up to the roof,
and she's sitting down.
By the way, was it a continuity thing or was it an error? There was track. There was track around the roof.
No way.
There was track around the roof, and I wasn't sure if that was a building thing. I don't think it was. There was track with the wooden pallets or whatever.
No way.
There was track.
Are you talking that there was dolly track?
There was dolly track, dude. There was dolly track on there. I don't know if that was on purpose or not, but there was dolly
track.
The last 2 days of filming, man. Last 2 days of
I
filming.
know, right? There was dolly track. I'm telling you guys. I thought it was interesting where one of the cool dialogue pieces was when they're talking about to Chris Pratt's character and his girlfriend.
Oh yeah.
Right, and they're off like they're hanging out. We should do something fun, and they.
Oh, dude! And when they invite him, right?
Yeah, and they're off in the beach or whatever. He's like, "Oh, I'm gonna take her on vacation." Well, I can't tell you, right? That whole thing. They get back, and then they start talking about
in the apartment.
No, in the field, in the I don't know if it's like a
beach
dock or a beach. Yeah.
Oh, okay, I don't remember.
They're hanging out, and then they start talking about like about how crazy it is that it's.
Oh, and then she goes off.
And then she goes off on.
Yeah.
It sucks to be the most evolved thing here, and then he's basically like, so humans suck, so we suck. All right, cool. But that moment, Joaquin's expression of, fuck, something's up, something's changing in her.
Exactly.
And how am I supposed to react to this? Like,
that was the first time where
let's get real in a relationship sense. We've all been in relationships, perhaps, that we have moments where we're like, is she evolving faster than I am? Like, is she getting the better job? Is she getting the better friendships? Am I falling behind?
Exactly.
And that's got to be the same feeling Joaquin's character felt, right?
Sure.
Like Theodore.
Why is there dolly tracks?
There's dolly tracks. I'm not bullshitting.
They're not connected, but like
they at least trying to make it seem like it's part of the roof.
I don't know. For those of you watching, just check this out at home. YouTube it or whatever.
Go to the last scene.
Look, there's dolly track, dude.
Oh no,
that's a dolly track.
Like why?
No, I was thinking it was part of the building. I did notice it.
Maybe it is.
Maybe they were running out of time or something. They're like, just leave it.
Yeah.
It looks like the building. There's fucking dolly track, dude.
But it's cut off. It's not connected.
Yeah, it's not connected. I mean, maybe they just thought like if it's connected,
it's too filmy.
It's too filmy.
I don't know, man, but yeah.
We've had C-stands in our shots. It's okay.
We have?
We had people's.
Which one?
We've had people's.
Oh, really? You want to know?
One of my films?
Yeah.
We had a C-stand in
and
one
think
of my
about it. It's one of the films I've been on, which isn't many.
The only Just Passing Through? There was a C-stand? There's a C-stand in Just Passing Through? You know, man, the editor's right here. I didn't have an AD. Wasn't my fault.
Let me flip that GoPro.
Person coming out in depth.
Where's the C-stand?
I don't think we used the scene for the shot, but it's when we were filming from the side and they were walking to the chairs and sitting down. And we just have a C-stand.
Oh, that's right. Oh, yeah, when you reframed the shot.
Yeah.
Me and you reframed the shot, that's right. We didn't use it.
Hey,
it was still there.
We did have a whole person come out in depth of field.
Oh, yeah. Austin, what happened?
Yeah.
And,
hey, you know what? Shout out to Head, because we had literally shadows of 3 people in the desert, and he was able to paint them out.
Yeah.
So. Dude, he was able to paint my shirt.
I never thought that was
possible.
Anyways, there's so much
I
more
remember
to talk
we talked about this kind of like last time, but what did you think that the film did absolutely perfect, and what do you think that they could have improved on? Oh, Castro, you really didn't dive too much into like the acting of like Joaquin. I mean, like dude, Scarlett Johansson, is playing that kind of supporting role, but only through audio. And I mean, really, it's all left on like Joaquin to like. You had an amazing
cast before they were an amazing cast. Like before they're the names they are today. Especially like Pratt and Rooney Mara, and I mean Amy Adams was kind of established already, but Joaquin was kind of established. But you had an amazing cast here.
Yeah, and I wasn't really familiar with Joaquin, but like I was saying earlier, like I've never seen him like take on a vulnerable character, like just a character that's he's portraying this. He's trying to like embody this character that a lot of guys go through, right? Not just an American, is like everybody goes through, right?
I have to pose the question to you though. I wanted to pose it to you guys, and you guys are gonna hate me. Could somebody else have played this role better? Because I kept asking myself. I kept asking myself after watching Lars and the Real Girl. Could Ryan Gosling have done this thing? Could I don't know. I mean, could
honestly, it would have been better with Will Ferrell. Just Straight up.
Dude, he would have brought a whole.
Could Jim Carrey have played this?
I was gonna say that maybe Jim Carrey, because Jim Carrey, it's beautiful.
That's true.
It's beautiful
That's
when
true.
you see somebody
Jim
just be a
Carrey could
comedian
have done this shit.
and then do a whole.
I mean, he did
360.
Eternal Sunshine, dude.
That's
Like,
what I
he
was
could've-
thinking.
Yeah, dude, that would have
kinda-
been good.
Yeah. Because he does
I
well like that, like
think
number 23.
There was something about Joaquin's, like,
he
just
doesn't just do comedy.
awkwardness,
That's
subtlety.
what works for him.
Yeah.
That's what works for him for sure.
But it's
Yeah.
also what, I don't know, sometimes it took me out of it. Sometimes it took me out of, like, why is he reacting that way? Like, why is he being quirky here in this moment? So that there was times where I asked myself, could somebody have played this role better? And he was great. Don't get me wrong.
Great for
I
sure.
mean, right? But could you
don't
picture
know.
somebody else?
I-
I could. I really could picture somebody.
But it's just 'cause you can kind of like see the cable guy, right? Like, it's somebody that's just lonely that wants to be with somebody. Yeah, no, it's a far fetched. But I'm saying like
I don't think Affleck could have played this.
Oh,
but
hell no, dude.
But
Not
I
even
think
Batman.
somebody like the Goslings or like the Carries or like the.
Ryan Gosling, I don't think so. I think he's too pretty for
after
that type of role.
Lars, I don't know. After Lars,
Lars.
you could see
That's what I'm
him
saying,
playing
after
a lot
Lars.
more of a quiet
But
role.
he's so different from now. He's a.
No, yeah, but if he needed to return to that, you know that's
actor's
in his
an actor,
range.
right?
Yeah.
An actor.
But he's already like
Hillary
he's
Swank-
bigger.
Hillary-
He's like the main guy now. Like
What I always
I
tell you-
can't see him be that lonely guy.
What I always tell
But I
you
mean,
about,
I know what you're saying. Like he had it before. Why can't he do it?
Yeah.
I get it.
I tell you always that Ari line from Entourage,
Which one?
where he's like, yeah, Tom Cruise is gonna play Pablo Escobar. They're like, well, that's what actors do. Hillary Swank won an Oscar for playing somebody that had a dick.
Yeah.
They pretend. Like,
Wow.
Ryan Gosling could have gone back.
No, yeah, for
I
sure.
don't know. I really liked Joaquin in this.
I
I love that.
His-
No, I
Great,
know, but I'll
his weirdness
I'll
and his-
argue.
Who could have done it? Goodbye.
Goodbye,
Who
No.
could have done it? Who could have done it?
Paul Rudd.
I think.
Yeah, Jim would be kind of like
Jim would be good.
Interesting.
Owen Wilson. Wow.
Wow.
Anyways, I mean, I don't mean to take too much time on this. I just thought I kept thinking to myself, Joaquin
Oh,
is
so you
great
love
in
me,
this, and I love this picture as it is.
Yeah, I
but-
like him in this one.
But I feel like maybe somebody out there could have done something.
It's because like somebody like that's like would have to
Joe
play
Pesci.
like a beta.
You talking to me?
You're real, how?
I'm thinking John Cena.
John Cena. You just
No,
want him
the-
bursting out of the
The guy
screen.
from
John Cena.
the kids from high school. Michael Cena, no?
Michael
my-
Cera.
Michael Cera.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking Michael
Yeah,
Cera
no.
too.
Michael Cera
Yeah,
still
no,
looks like he's 13, dude.
Yeah, but I'm saying like that lonely.
What about like
because Michael
Steve
Cera-
Carell?
Michael
I think you're a little too
Cera-
old.
Too old.
I think you're a little too old.
Michael Cera, if he had played it, he would have been like that dumb kid who downloads an app and then accidentally like spends his parents' money, and it's like, oh,
Dude,
no.
you send me those TikToks
Yeah.
of the impression of like if Michael Cera played Bane in Batman.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey man, you like it's so funny.
I'm
dude.
inevitable, man.
I mean, yeah, replace Thanos. Yeah.
No, I'm just saying like his character, what he always plays is
Joaquin
Yeah.
hits
kinda
that
weird.
really
He
nice
does.
middle
Yeah,
ground.
yeah, Joaquin, yeah.
No, but I'm saying it like I really don't know.
But I get you.
Like,
Like
who-
the Jim
See,
Carrey's, like the Adam Sandler's, maybe.
Exactly.
Like
I'll
the-
even go this far. James McAvoy wouldn't be able to do this.
No, maybe.
I'll give you that. Nah, because he's not awkward.
You know who could,
Joaquin
you know,
is
you know who I think
awkward.
could have? If they age him up the way they aged him up in He Won't Get Far on Foot, Jonah Hill. Jonah Hill could have
Jonah
probably
Hill,
done
because
something
I've seen
like
him do
this.
a couple of those roles.
Those drama, those
Yeah.
real, somebody like Jonah.
But is it awkward or is it vulnerable?
It's both.
See, but I think he.
But
would
you
be-
guys keep seeming to lean towards this like awkward side of him when I feel like the most that you see from him, like all this dismissiveness, him not being able to socialize, there's a large part of him that's just kind of like out
No,
and
it's
really
a vulnerable
exposed,
thing.
you know?
It's a vulnerable thing for sure. But I think
Yeah, I
I think
think
it
it's
has to
vulnerable.
be equal parts,
Really?
or maybe not. Maybe the character has to be entirely vulnerable, and the awkwardness is provided by Joaquin.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't want to dwell on this. I'm just saying.
No,
I
well,
love
I'm saying
Joaquin.
the vulnerable thing that he's willing to not only date but let other people know that he's dating on his computer, kind of.
Yeah.
But that's
That's like the vulnerable thing, like,
that's a
he's-
freedom thing, isn't it? That's not a vulnerable thing.
That's
Maybe
true.
it's
'cause
vulnerable at first.
I was kind of getting that too, because when they invite him to dinner, he kind of doesn't know, but he does tell him. So I guess it's not
I love how Chris Pratt reacts to it. By the way,
exactly.
where he's like, "Cool, sushi
Exactly,
or
so
whatever."
it's cool, so- I don't know. It's
It's
not,
like,
yeah,
she's
probably
an
vulnerable
AI.
is not the good word, but I just feel like he
Well, anyways, if you guys think somebody else could have played it better, comment on this and let us know. But in the meantime, I think Joaquin is right for it. I just couldn't fight the feeling of like,
Who else?
could there have been somebody better?
I don't think there's anything I'd change about this film.
Really?
It's so high on my
I
list.
told you the only thing I
Point
changed
two
was the
that you
beginning.
would.
I can't.
Because I wanted that Mobius moment. But
no, because even
beyond
that, I know our PA.
Yeah. I think that's the only thing I've changed. Beyond that, I wouldn't change the dialogue. I wouldn't change the writing.
What would you change?
The beginning. The beginning.
Oh, okay.
No, but I know that there's
that
that nice loop of like, oh, okay, like, it intros something. Because, yeah, it's kind of...
Think about the juxtaposition here. Think about I'm going to keep fighting for that scene because think about the juxtaposition of if we introduce him as the writer that can write letters for so many other people, but he can't write one to the person he cares about the most. And we open the film like that, and the close of the film is he's finally able to write that letter. That's his whole career, is writing letters for other people, writing love letters to other people.
Okay. What about the connection between, at the beginning, it's just him, it's that whole close-up scene, and it's him kind of like poetically pouring out love, even if it's for like a synthetic use. And then at the very end, it's them two standing, and really it just begs the question, if that wasn't true love, what is?
Well, okay, let me tell you this. I will say this. If Spike would have went with My Beginning, no, it wouldn't have been.
It would have been Oscar.
No, it wouldn't. Well, maybe, but it wouldn't have been popular. The film wouldn't have got, because what he's doing. I think Spike had a choice: give the beginning of the arc or set up the world, and he decided to set up the world.
Yeah, exactly.
So if, by setting up the world, more people are going to get into it right away. It's going to get better ratings. It's going to
then I think it kind of it leaves it where you know what's going to happen at the end.
Exactly.
And you know what? I think your beginning punches harder the first time around, but then the second time around,
that's interesting.
Yeah, because then
then
you understand what's going to happen, and then you're like, okay, I see that now it's going to loop back to it. But this one...
Do you feel that way? I write those things, so I hope people don't feel that way.
No, but I think for this one.
For this one.
Okay.
Because
that makes sense.
Because there would have been that heavier impact of like, and send. Like... It would have had that bigger punch.
It would have been too on the nose, too. Would have been too,
because
think
about it. It kind of...
start off the fucking movie with the was kind of like...
It opens up ambiguously.
Introduce.
It opens up ambiguously to Joaquin Phoenix,
and
then ends ambiguously on like, what is he gonna do next? Because really, you go.
It did have a very Good Will Hunting ending.
Yeah.
I will say, like, okay, he's going after the girl. He's not going after the girl.
It's a whole thing of like,
Good
like
Will Hunting is perfection too, dude.
Yeah, it just is.
That ending.
Woo! When love's gone, where does it go?
Right. Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
that's good.
So, like, you're just left with that, and they're both left with that, and that's why that ending it's so powerful because. Should
the and I don't care either way. I'm probably leaning towards no. Should the Amy Adams character have been bigger for this ending to be even more impactful?
It was enough.
What do you mean?
Enough? Yeah. Should her character? Should we have seen
more of a connection or what? Yeah.
You know what? There's the way that the film shot, and I feel like what it kind of brings you around, especially building up to the like fight scene with him and his ex-wife. There's a selfishness to the kind of love that he has, and I think if you had given her more screen time, it would have broken you out of that kind of like molding or mentality. And I think by emphasizing on him and what he's experiencing,
I agree.
Plus,
and how he thinks of things, you
that's
see how.
It's just
plus, the film was 10 minutes shy of 2 hours, which is not long, which is not short. It was perfect in its pacing. So to give her an arc would have added a little more to the film, time wise. Yeah, I can see that.
I think what happened is that she was there enough to kind of show the other aspects. Because I mean, maybe when you're going through, like the relationship, and you're going through your breakups, and you're going through all that, it feels very isolated. But then you have to see that there were more people out there, even if you didn't give them the time to like
that. And for the sake of Joaquin's arc, right? Like, or Theodore's arc.
Yeah.
The funny thing about her is we see the human condition without the human. And that's the point, right? It's the human condition, falling in love and feeling heartbreak and the dynamics of those two things. But with Amy Adams' character, that's the only human interaction, true human interaction he could actually have.
Exactly.
Right? Because he can't have it with Pratt's character. He doesn't have it with the Olivia Wilde. I mean, he has it with the Olivia Wilde character, but even he admitted, I wanted to get drunk just to get laid. And that's why I opened up to her, and that's why So the only true human interaction he's having, besides the flashbacks of Rooney, is with Amy Adams. That's the only human connection he has, if you really think about it. Yeah. So, I mean, it could have gone either way.
Also, I think if they had given her any more time, then it would have like lent into the idea of like, oh, so they're gonna get together. And then
That's
also,
true.
and
That's
then
a good
also,
point.
you don't want
you
that.
guys saw it coming, right? Though.
What, that they were gonna get together?
Yeah.
No,
I
no.
did.
You kind of did.
That's what I said was enough.
I think it was supposed to set it up for you that way.
Yeah.
Until she asks. I think they set it up that way so that Samantha can ask her question. Did you and whatever her name was ever date?
Oh.
And then he's like, for like a minute in college. That dismissive thing. It was like, all right,
I remember
cool. I don't have to worry about that anymore. Yeah.
Because you wouldn't want them getting together.
I wouldn't.
Because I think then what it would have done is that it would have been like, oh no, it's not that love's wrong. It's that you were just with the wrong person.
Yeah,
and that didn't need to happen here. I think it had so much of a bigger question of them trying to ask like, well, what are we supposed to be doing? You know, like because this whole time we think we're falling in love with this person, and then they're not giving us what we want, and we're not happy, and they're not happy. So then, what do you do at the end of all of it? And by them kind of just realizing like that wasn't what like the whole thing. Now we know what we should do if we ever find this love again, or have this love again, and all that kind of stuff. And it wouldn't have been as you can't have that if he finds love with like the person that he never recognized. Like, oh no, like you were there all along.
You were there all. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Then,
no, I would have thrown the fucking remote at the TV or something like that. I would have killed because it's such a good picture. I wouldn't want that. Yeah, and it's very it's kind of abstract and artsy, and it's what we love about these types of films and the open-endedness and it's good, man. I rate it at that flat 9. That's a compliment coming from me. In case you don't know
like
my
how you
rating.
see the flat 9.
Flat 9. Yeah, 9. Just a 9.
What about a plump 9?
A plump 9.
Still,
okay, a plump,
there's no
a nice,
in there, you know?
plump, juicy 9, Castillo. Let me give it a nice
extra
plump, juicy 9.
Firm 9.
Any final thoughts on the film, guys?
Me, I gave it a 9.2 because it's just such a realistic, you know, it's a glimpse into the future. You see, he perfectly embodies the you know, trying to show, you know, like, I don't know how to say this, like, his character is a representation of so many people that go through the same thing. And I think he perfectly embodied it. Like, you know, you don't get the guy that's just lonely, or the guy that's, you know, super emotional, whatever. You know, perfect.
Good balance.
Yeah, good balance. There we go. That's what I'm trying to say. So I liked it.
Though we didn't get much into it, I think what is really impressive about the film is that how you're able to connect so much with the emotions and feelings and ideas that are like kind of portrayed through, and
because of the cinematography,
and because of the color. I mean, you just look at like how vibrant and everything gets, and how that makes you feel like he's finally happy. And he doesn't need to say he's happy or even overly express that he's happy.
I think what's cool about the color is that you don't feel it.
Yeah.
And that's the point. You don't feel the color, but the cinematography, you're right in the room with them.
What do you mean you don't feel the color?
Okay.
The red stood out
at the very beginning of the film, right? What is Joaquin feeling at the time? What is he going through when he leaves the office and he's going?
What is that palette? What's the back? What's the color in the back?
It's
the opening shot, like an orange, no, like an orange yellow.
No, it's like an orange, but it's leaning towards like a gray, a dark, or a mid-tone blue, and then it's using a lot of like pastels, Easter colors. We can even kind of talk about that, being that Easter and pastel is a whole thing of revival, you know, and there being this.
That's what I like.
Yeah.
Well, that's the point. But my argument with it is,
was that what they're going for? Or it was just kind of like
that's what that was all on purpose.
That was all
intentional. Yeah. But that's why my thing is, it's like when they say good editing is the editing you don't see.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So when it's good color and it's worked into the set design and it's worked into production, you don't feel it.
I didn't.
Oh, the room is yellow now. No, it's like the room is yellow because.
No, and then even when they go outside and the exteriors are all like, you know, these reds and pinks and all that kind of stuff. You know.
Yeah, the color, but to me, more than the color, because I didn't feel it because on purpose. That's a good thing.
Yeah, it was
the cinematography. The cinematography puts me in the room with them. It lets me see the intimacy. It lets me be intimate with the characters. It allows me to have the floating camera with them, and when they're walking and when they're enjoying themselves, we see them in full frame. Like, I mean, you know,
it's been a while, but can you imagine re-seeing this in theaters and having just Joaquin staring at you and just feeling that, like, it's just you and me, bro. Like,
Just you and me.
Yeah.
we're going through that, and yeah.
But that's what I mean. Like, what I love about it is when we're intimate, we need to be intimate, and fuck everybody around me. It's me and Joaquin in the room, but when he's around people for the sake of feeling like he's around people, like the carnival scene.
Yeah.
Where she's having him walk with his eyes closed and then pointing the camera and spinning of the camera and
just laughing
and there's
like a
people
little
all
kid.
around and we see that in full frame. We see him from head to toe.
Yeah.
And we see the people from head to toe and just the framing of that and the cinematography to me. And then most of them were
Things I
oneers.
don't notice.
Most of the scenes were oneers. So the not have a break in the dialogue and in the action, it just threw me in. It immersed me. The cinematography immersed me.
So it doesn't sound like a flat 9.
No, well, look, the flat
It's
9.
a plump 9.
The plump
extra
9
plump
that I'm
9.
giving it is, this is my final thing. When I've said this since I started writing films myself, like when you can make a film and it's just two people talking and you engage me with just these two people talking the whole time. There's no explosions, there's no people coming out of the fucking sky. It's two people talking. And if you can engage me for 2 hours and make me care about these characters through that,
Yeah, if you're able to pull that off,
Lock.
yeah, for sure.
Locke. Yeah, we talked about Locke, right? So if you can do that for me, and I care about these characters,
I agree. I'm
and
the
I
same
want to
boat.
know what happens to them at the end, dude, you sold me. That you get a plump 9, Castro.
That reminds me of your short film, the one with Damien and it's just a conversation you just want to keep hearing
on the phone.
The one where
Edge of Desire.
Edge of Desire.
That's what I wanted. That's what I'm
just one
saying.
of
When
those
it
things where
when
it's
it
like-
comes to films that make me want to make films, her is up there.
Yeah.
Her wanted, I wanted to make films like her.
And it's also like whenever I see a film that utilizes cinematography, it also reminds me how the cinema medium
Right.
is just something that you can't do that in a book. You can't make her in a
Yeah,
book
ooh.
or in a play.
Oh, yeah, you
the
can't.
passion, emotion, tension, everything you feel from this film, you can't get anywhere else.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
it reminds
Yeah.
you why cinema's cinema and
Yeah,
why
yeah.
it's an art form.
Yeah,
You know.
absolutely. By the way,
Beautiful.
Spike Jonze plays the video game character in this, and I thought that was just a fucking hilarious.
Oh,
mean
the
guy?
little
Fuck
thing.
you, guys!
you, yeah.
That's the director.
Oh,
He's
shit.
the voice of the director. All right, I mean, these final thoughts are awesome, man. Go watch
Check
Her.
it out for sure.
Yes,
It's a
please.
terrific picture. It's gonna stand the test of time. This film, and the closer we get to that time span, we don't even know what year it takes place in, but
Which is beautiful.
the closer we get there, the more we're gonna be like, oh man, how do we synthesize love, and does it matter?
Yeah.
And-
I mean, I had to watch this for the philosophy class because I mean it talks about themes
right.
that you'll see universally. Like you
Oh,
said,
that's cool.
with every guy feels that. Well, I mean, every person feels that. Every person's
Right.
gone through these emotions and feelings and
Absolutely.
tensions, and
Absolutely.
it's wonderful when a picture's able to make you think beyond like just the story. That it's made it's able
absolutely.
to connect with you on such a deep level. That's why
Yeah.
you said like it'll stand the test of time just because it's that good, you know.
Yeah, just
It's very rare when a picture can combine all of the elements of cinema to tell the story this complex but simple at the same time.
Yeah.
It's a very complex, emotionally complex picture.
it's a risky film to
Yeah.
like you know.
Yeah.
You're
And I
be
mean,
talking to a,
go ahead, give it a couple of years, and then come back to the film, and you'll feel completely different about.
You know
those
what's cool
tensions.
is that I don't think I've seen it since the first time I've seen it,
And
but
this-
I praised it.
Yeah.
I've always praised it, and it's a fucking great
Yeah, a
film.
lot of people have told
and then
me
I
that.
rewatched it, and I'm like, holy shit, it really is. I'm not just saying that. Like, it's not just
No,
I remember it
it's
that
a
By the
way.
way,
flat
by the
nine.
way, real
Yeah.
quick. I know we're gonna close off, but like, why is it that cinema lovers love this film and like non-cinema people are like, that's kind of weird. He dated his phone. Have you
yeah,
encountered
they just
people like that?
go to that right away. It's like no, it's
Eric Sanchez and I were talking about that last night because we're in a group and he sends me a message of
Yeah.
he's watching Cronenberg's Crash, and the whole thing about Crash. If you haven't seen it, I haven't seen it, but I know what it's about. It's about people who get turned on from crashes, like car crashes and test dummies
Oh.
and shit. Like
Okay.
they're aroused, like sexually.
Right.
And then I'm sending him clips of her because I'm watching her, and I'm like, Eric, we're the two pervs watching people that get off at inanimate objects. How do you feel about this? That's what we're currently watching.
Oh my God.
And he's like, damn, that's true. Like you're watching her, I'm like, yeah, well, they're getting off on inanimate objects. Like that's one guy's in
Joker
love
the
with his
cat.
PC, and then another guy's in love with a car crash. But yeah, it's. Whoever goes through that has a shallow mindset.
Yeah, because I remember, like, I told, after I saw it, I would tell everybody about it. I'm like, you have to watch it. He's like, ew, the one with Joaquin dating his phone.
It's because
I'm
he
like,
had such a
Well,
bad
he's
rap
like-
with his previous, especially the one where I'm still here. Like I'm
I
here.
haven't seen that. I haven't seen that.
No,
Everybody had a bad rap by that
Everybody
time.
just got
It was
tripped out.
You
that,
were never
yeah.
really here, right? No, that one? Or which one?
No, that's the new one.
Oh, the
one where he's a
the
rapper.
Casey Affleck
Yeah,
thing.
that
The
one.
Casey
Yeah,
Affleck
yeah.
thing.
That
yeah.
just to me gave me like a this guy. I'm gonna pass on his
Nah,
movies.
I think everybody just like got tripped out of like that idea because
Not for
it's the
nothing,
same.
though. It's also a marketing thing, dude. The poster, that's not a very welcoming poster.
Wait,
Wait,
what's
it's
the
just him in
poster?
pink?
The poster, it's him in pink, her. And it's
It's
a
not
dude
in
with a
pink.
mustache
That's
against
true.
a pink
There's not a lot
background.
to go with.
That's an opener
Oh
for
my
us.
god! Like that's.
But if somebody's
I
seen
never
the
thought about
poster,
that.
they're probably like,
It's
is
gay
it about,
film?
yeah, is it a gay film? Is it, yes.
That's true.
I mean, it's not a
I
very
never thought
welcoming
about
poster.
that. I just
Transition
thought
film?
like
Yeah, if you think about it. I mean, if you see that on Netflix, I'm
Ooh.
probably going to pass on this.
I'm into women.
You know. Anyways, all right. I think,
Loved it. See it.
love it, see it.
I want to personally apologize to Joaquin Phoenix. You definitely stepped up on my
Way to be
acting skills
mature.
list for sure.
Way to be mature.
No, yeah, but this one you definitely.
Dude, but if Tim Allen was in this,
Oh, might be in a trilogy by now.
Is it my turn next?
yeah.
Yeah, it goes around. Yeah.
It's my turn next. So, okay. Next episode of the Watchtower, we're doing John Favreau wrote it. We're
Being
doing
John Malkovich.
Being John Malkovich,
Dude.
Spike Jonze. Now we're doing Swingers.
Oh,
it's
good
one of
pick.
my favorite pictures of all time. I can't wait to screen it for these guys.
Jon Favreau.
I don't think anybody's seen it, so it's really John Favreau wrote it. Vince Vaughn, one of his first roles.
Skinny Vince Vaughn.
Really?
Skinny Vince Vaughn, skinny John Favreau.
Oh,
I
Skinny
think
Vaughn.
Heather Graham is in it. I don't remember, but it's a terrific picture. One of my favorite films. We're going to talk about
Dang,
Swingers
okay.
Good
okay.
pick.
next time. So that's my pick. Swingers. Another LA film, by the way. So it takes place entirely in LA. It's a good film. We'll talk about that next time. Go watch her. Thank you guys for tuning in to this episode of The Watchtower. We'll catch you guys next time. Keep watching films. Keep collecting home media and cinema. We got a couple of VHSs up here if you haven't. checked them
I got
out.
my-
You know, we
my-
got, like the Singing in the Rain VHS
Like
because
the
my wife and I
Liar.
went thrifting and
a classic,
You know
a
what
cult
I mean?
classic. Top 10 Sundance. I don't
keep collecting media, home media rather, and films and cinema, and keep watching films. We love you guys, man. Thank you guys for tuning
Take care,
in.
guys.
know. Love you guys.